What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I'm here to do my thoughts on the game, the post-game, thoughts or whatever for the Dolphins and Jets game. Obviously, it was up in MetLife Stadium. It was the first ever Black Friday game, so that's exciting. Some history going on there with that. It was streaming on Amazon Prime, which actually they streamed it for free, so you didn't even need an Amazon Prime subscription, which I thought was pretty cool. So you were able to do that for anybody out there that was watching the game. That's what I did, and but it was a great time. Obviously, Dolphins come away with the win. 34-13. I am going to talk about this game, give some stats, some highlights and stuff, of course. But the first thing that I want to, mention is the biggest, negative of this game, the unfortunate part of this game, and that is, of course, Jalen Phillips. I just want to knock this out of the way because, obviously we're going to keep him in our thoughts for those of you out there that do, the praying thing. Keep him in your prayers, thoughts, prayers, wishes, and all that stuff. By the way, so, it was super unfortunate when they showed the replay. You could see pretty clearly that there was a pop. There was a pop there. And, I said, because I did a live stream and, I said in my live stream, I was like, well, I'm obviously not a doctor and I don't want to speculate, but that seems pretty clear and obvious because it was down around his ankle and you could see a visible pop. I was like, man, I feel like it's an Achilles tear, and they did eventually confirm that. So it's unfortunate, but during the broadcast, they did talk about how Aaron Rodgers, the revolu or the revolutionary, the procedure that he underwent is pretty, cutting edge there. That's what I was looking for. It's pretty cutting edge procedure, and that's why he's been able to kind of come back faster. Now, at this point of the season, it's very likely that he's going to be out for the remainder of the year regardless. Quick side note, that Jets field is notorious for, major injuries like that. So something needs to happen with that. But anyway, so I was just saying, though, hopefully he can get that same procedure so he could hopefully, recover fast and, get back sooner. But, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but I know he'll come back stronger. We still are good. We still have a lot of guys on that defense and everything, so we'll be fine. But we get the win, so let's go ahead and move on because I don't, want to dwell on that. There were a couple mistakes, obviously, in this game. There was the one drop. There were three big mistakes for me. I mean, there were a couple penalties, but, not a huge deal there. There were three big mistakes by the Dolphins in this game. Obviously, they were able to overcome them. But the first one was the Tyreek Hill drop in the end zone. He did make up for that, obviously, by getting in the end zone a little bit later. So you can kind of balance the scales on that one. No big deal. The second mistake was the pick six that Tua threw. Obviously, that's just, bad on him. He takes full blame for that. And, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm sure he's going to learn from it, right? He needs to learn from it, and he definitely 100% over the next few weeks needs to get himself to a point where he can stop doing that, because when we get to those tougher teams, later. Now look, it was a great defense. So let's also note, though, let's be fair. They were good plays on the ball, both of his interceptions, and this is a great defense with a really good secondary and so on and so forth. So the Jets do get credit for that, but he has to clean that up, because when we do get to those tough games toward the end of the season, you can't make those mistakes or you're going to lose those games. So anyway, but it is what it is. And then the third mistake was the second interception that Tua threw. However, again, the only things I will say about that is it was definitely a mistake on him, and he definitely deserves blame for that. However, it was also a really good play by the defensive back. It was Eccles was the pick six, and then it was Reed. They're behind Sauce Gardner, their second best corner. Got the interception there, so it was good play by him. It is what it is. And I will also say that Tua got kind of bailed out because of one of the biggest and most amazing plays of the game was when Mike White threw a Hail Mary with 2 seconds left to go in the half, and Javon Holland picks that shit off and takes it the motherfucking distance, 99 yards for the score, making it 17. I think it was 17-3 at the half. So yeah, I was watching, they did some interviews with Christian Wilkins and stuff, and Christian Wilkins and Hill after the game, and they're talking about the game and stuff and the win and all that stuff. So I got that up. It's still going. I have it muted. But anyway, Christian Wilkins, they fed him. They made the chef on site made this crazy sandwich, and they got to taste it, and then Christian Wilkins wanted the tray. Anyway, getting back to the game. So those were really the 3 big mistakes. But obviously they overcame it. And like I said, Tua got bailed out with the second one because of Holland's pick 6 for a touchdown. So, and then obviously Mostert had 2 touchdowns. I mean, let's run through a few of these stats or whatever really quick. So obviously score was 34-13. Tua was 21 of 30, 243 yards, 1 touchdown, the 2 interceptions. Rushing, Mostert led the way, and they did a good job. I thought overall the game plan was damn good. Even when they went for it on 4th down, 4th and 2, deep in the red zone, that was the first mistake. That was Tyreek Hill's drop, right? But I thought it was a good call going for it and a good play call. Hill just dropped it, right? But overall, I thought this Dolphins team proved a lot against a tough defense when they were on offense. I mean, yes, 7 points of the 34 was the pick 6, but they did score 27 on offense. Jason Sanders made a 54-yard field goal. Fucking good for him. Mostert was 20 rushes for 94 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 4.7 average. Wilson had 11 attempts for 56 yards and a 5.1 average. And then Darrington Evans, who had the fumble towards the back end of the game when they started substituting in backups that set up the Jets for their lone touchdown on offense. The one touchdown they had on offense was because of that. Anyway, and then receiving, Waddle was 8 receptions for 114 yards. Tyreek Hill 9 for 102. So he's still, and a touchdown. So he's still on pace for his 2,000 yards. Good stuff there. And we had a lot of guys back. We had Durham Smythe and Braxton Berrios back. So that was good to see. Emmanuel Ogbah came up big. We ended up having a few sacks on the day. Let's see. I mean, we had 2 interceptions on the day, 2 fumbles. One forced fumble. We had 1 forced fumble, and then sacks. We had 6. We had 6 sacks. Holy shit! I didn't realize it was that much. Deshaun Hand got a sack. Christian Wilkins had 2 sacks. Phillips had a sack. But Ogbah came up huge though. Ended up having a sack and a half. Sealer had a sack. Raekwon Davis had a half sack. So we ended up having 6 sacks altogether, right? Let's see, 1, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 7. Because for some reason the total doesn't count the half sack. So we had 7 sacks. Jason Sanders 2 for 2 on his field goals, along at 54. So good for him. 4 for 4 on his extra points. Bailey only had to punt once. So good numbers across the board. I think the offense actually did show some good stuff, especially because obviously, they've been struggling with, injuries on that offensive line, and the offensive line got a little bit more banged up in this game. But they overall seem like they're going to be all right, and we should be getting Rob Hunt and Rob Jones. I think both of them back relatively soon. So, overall good stuff, man. And you gotta love it, man. Defense did some great things. Like I said, 7 sacks, fucking 2 interceptions or whatever, and the pick 6 for 99 yards. I mean, just good things all around. Like I said, the one bad thing about this game, really, I mean, you can deal with the mistakes. They definitely need to clean up the mistakes, but you can deal with them when you win 34-13. So, good stuff by this Dolphins team. Love it. Love to see it. And now we're 8-3. And look, it's also beautiful because we get to sit back the rest of this week, the Dolphins are going into a little bit of a mini bye. Obviously because they played Friday, they don't play again until a week from Sunday. The next few games are still, easy games that the Dolphins should be favored in. We play at Washington next. Then we play at home for Tennessee and then at home for the Jets before we get to that final 3-game stretch of Dallas at home, Baltimore on the road, and then Buffalo to end the season. Now, here's the thing, right? So with this, just to talk a little bit of future real quick too, before I, go ahead and end this video is that Dolphins are obviously 8-3. So even if the Bills were to win, we would still remain first place in the division. But the Bills play the Eagles today, Sunday. And so, Sunday, first and foremost, Dolphins fans, we get to sit back and just enjoy football, enjoy life, and just casually and comfortably watch some football on Sunday. But here's the thing. We also get to watch football where we watch the Buffalo Bills go up against the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're playing in Philly, which means it's a road game for the Bills. And yes, I know they put up 30 over the Jets and, blah, blah, blah. But that Jets team is reeling, and their defense is unfortunately, starting to break down. They just can't hang with it, at this point in the season. And so, the floodgates are starting to open. So, but the Jets season is effectively over, 4-7. I think we can start the talks of Aaron Rodgers coming back and start to really cool off. Their postseason hopes are pretty much done. But look, if the Bills do lose to the Eagles on Sunday, then that'll put them at 6-6, and it won't look, I don't think either of the Jets or the Bills would be mathematically eliminated in that scenario. Like, I don't think the Jets are mathematically eliminated even after their loss. So who knows? Maybe Rodgers will still be like, well, a 4-7 team could make it. Okay, I guess maybe, but the Bills definitely wouldn't be mathematically eliminated. But at 6-6, 2 games behind us, 2 full games easy behind us, with us cruising, looking like we should be able to get wins the next 3 weeks. I mean, good things for this Miami Dolphins team, and it's only looking more and more positive. And next Tuesday, I mean, there's still games. So there's the game Sunday. I think there's still a game on Monday, although I'm not 100% sure about that, because obviously they had 3 games yesterday. They had the game today. So I'm not 100% sure. I'll see if I can figure that out really quick. But anyway, so yeah, man, just good things for this team going forward. And you love to see it, man. You just love to see it. Yeah, there is still a Monday night game, although we personally don't care about it because it is Minnesota and Chicago. I will obviously be watching it because it's football. But yeah, so Sunday, I mean, we have Baltimore, LA, Chargers, that is. I mean, I expect Baltimore to get that win. So, but who knows? Maybe the Chargers can get an upset. That would certainly help us, because right now we're tied for the first seed. But KC also plays LV, so the Raiders. But that's I think those are 2 road games for those teams. So maybe if they can drop those games, but we'll see. I expect KC and Baltimore to win. Buffalo, though, I do expect to lose against Philly. So hopefully we can take that next step with the Bills losing to wrapping up the division, and hopefully be able to wrap after the next 3 wins, because then they go on their bye. Then they play the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it's in KC. Yeah, it's in KC. So they have to go into Kansas City. They're going to play the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. I'm pretty sure the Bills are going to lose their next 2 at least. Then they play Dallas after that. But they're in Buffalo for that game. I think the Bills are going to lose at least 2 of those games, if not all 3. And the Dolphins should win their next 3 games. And if they lose at least 2 of the games, I think we will have the division wrapped up by the end the end of December, by Christmas, which would be fucking amazing. That would be fucking awesome. Because when was the last time that the Dolphins did that? You know what I'm saying? And then we could cruise into the rest of the season knowing we at least, at the very worst, have the division locked up, an AFC championship, as well as, you know, at worst, the number 4 seed. And then we'll just be going into that last 3-game stretch trying to determine seeding, which we absolutely will still be playing for. So, you know, it's good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. And on Tuesday, after everything wraps up from week 12, on Tuesday, I will do, you know, my playoff predictor video once we have the full slate of games completed and we know the results to everything. But I will maybe actually do later, you know, maybe on Sunday evening after all of the Sunday games are done, maybe I'll do a little video to kind of just recap what happened and just, you know, update, you know, the wins and losses for teams that we could be potentially, you know, vying for position with down the stretch. So anyway, with that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. That was an amazing game. Again, the one downside, I can get over the mistakes that were made, you know, by the team, the drop in the end zone by Hill and the interceptions because of the overall result and so on and so forth. The one big thing that's going to be tough to swallow for a little while is obviously Jalen Phillips. But, you know, we got guys. We're going to be all right on defense. Hopefully he can get that same procedure that Aaron Rodgers got to make him bigger, you know, to make him stronger, because it's supposed to not just help you get, you know, recovered faster, but it's also supposed to help you be stronger down the stretch too, and going forward. So hopefully you can get that same procedure, but it is what it is. Great win by this Dolphins team, 34-13, 8-3 on the motherfucking season. Let's go, baby. Let's keep this fucking train rolling, and fins up, baby, all day, every day.
7 seconds left. Tannehill will throw it, and this will end it after the shuttle. Miami runs around, short quick, and the go. Gronkowski did not be able to go. Touchdown. Miraculous in Miami. Stills to Parker to Drake. And they held off the field. Unimaginable what has taken place here in South Florida. The Dolphins have done it. They keep their season alive. 69 yards. Wow. Pure joy. Miami wins it.